his burden, the man beneath the myth. I am the face that time forgot, the name that was never enough.
First, you used these people to win yourself a kingdom, and now you herded them here under threat of being stomped to death by giants if they leave or disobey. After all that they've gone through, all that they've done, all that they've suffered, this is how you intend to repay them?
No kingdom will stand with people like them within its borders. They would have to change their ways. The Del Rita are not ready for this. You know this.
You did worse than all of them combined, and you are the one responsible for all they've done so far. They fought for your name and under your banners. Does this mean you're not fit to be a king? Not ready to have a kingdom?
I left the heritage of Pendragon behind me. I severed the ties between myself and my tribe. I lost all that tied me to the past when I became king. I set a new path for myself. They are not ready to do that.
Bullshit! You forced them to go against their sacred traditions. You destroyed their identities. They betrayed their comrades because you ordered them to. They kidnapped the children of the giants because you told them to do it. Everything they did was so that you could win this war. And now what? You're going to punish them for being your best, fiercest soldiers, most loyal of your men?
This is not...
Oh, stop with your excuses already. You broke them, and now you're abandoning them to starve or freeze to death in these damned lands.
This kingdom needs to be built on peace, Caradoc. Letting them live among merchants, lords, and ladies in Camelot or Timberwall. How would that go?
Exactly as anyone would expect it to go.
So we would end up with a civil war. Right after we won the war that almost annihilated us all.
Oh, damn you. I've had enough. I stood by you through everything. Even what you did to me. To Seawall. I let it all slide. I told myself it was for something. For a noble cause. But this is where I draw the line. I renounce my oaths, and I'm walking away. Put a blade in my back if that helps you sleep. I don't care. Not anymore.
Now I remember it all. I left the best of my people here. I betrayed their loyalty. And for what? Everything is in ruin. Everything I struggled to build is corrupted. This land, it had a glorious past, but it has no future. There is no way to save it. I know. I see it now. And it was my decision that cost them the ability to grow and change. I may have been right about the diagnosis. Now I see I could have been wrong about the cure. The tribes helped us win the war. They were fearless and followed every order. They were the most loyal of all. But I left them broken. And after the war, their bloodlust was insatiable. I had to do something. This felt like the only choice. The giants sided with our enemy. We had to find a way to remove them from the equation. So, under cover of night, the tribes stole their children. I told the giants their offspring were our hostages, and that we would slaughter them if they refused to bend the knee. One of the most humiliating moments of that whole war, both for me and for the Del Rita. Caradoc had the clearest eyes of any of us. He saw things for what they were. And I think I destroyed that. Destroyed him with all I did. I turned him into this. And now he's only a shadow of the man I once knew. He used to carry hope. Now all he carries is vengeance. I come from the Pendragon bloodline, a heritage drenched in as much blood as that of the Del Rita. A heritage that pillaged and fought in the homelands for longer than anyone can remember, and unable to build anything that withstood the test of time. I decided to leave it behind me when we won the war against the Four-Dwellers, and built our kingdom on Avalon on stronger foundations. Now we've seen that my bloodline must have been cursed. There's nothing left. Nothing worth saving. Nothing worth rebuilding. I gave everything I had to this land. My blood, my soul, my name. And the land devoured it all. I betrayed the ones who believed in me. I cut down the men who fought for me. I turned away from my own blood to build something better. And all I built was another ruin. I thought I was forging a future. I was just extending the fall. Do what you want. There's nothing about this land that I recognize anymore. All I've ever done got turned into dust, corrupted against my intentions, destroyed. Why bother?
Speak your will through the mortal you now inhabit. Is it time for us to awaken? The Del Rita have long been our allies. Through their eyes, we have watched your kingdom fall into corruption. Camelot will fall. Your will shall be done.
we are ready to begin the moot. We were only waiting for your return, once and future king. You were strong enough to walk the king's thread, and you conquered it. What is your will, my king? What decision have you made regarding the giants? Glory be to you, once and future king. Fame and honor to you for all time. Thanks to you, Camelot will fall, and with it, the dead laws and the suppression of the Dalrida tribes. Thank you, my king, for your intervention. I, the voice of the Dalrida tribes, accept your decision with humility and gratitude.
So, we are preparing for war. It's not the solution I would have supported had the moot taken place under normal circumstances. But seeing the state we are in, I don't have much choice. Besides, it would be a shame to waste such an opportunity. The Ulfr tribe would never forgive me if I held the Dalrita back from open war with Camelot, especially with the giants at our side.
The giants are marching on Camelot, and I suppose I should be glad, right? But I'm not. Not at all. How am I supposed to know they won't turn on us one day? The Stagfather was supposed to be our protector too, and he wiped out nearly my entire tribe. I'll never trust the giants. Not a chance.
So be it. War. We march on Camelot, and the giants shall clear the path for us. My plans to rebuild the tribe must wait. But perhaps the Thoid scattered across the land will join our march. I only hope that many of us return home safely. Without Thoid blood, rebuilding a tribe as strong as we once were will be no easy task.
The king's decision pleases me greatly. My tribe will once again have the chance to prove itself in battle. Nothing stirs a Volkir's soul more than the chaos of true war. There, we shall be at our strongest. I only hope Camelot's armies have the courage to meet us in the field, instead of cowering behind their city walls and forcing us into some tedious siege.
The center cannot hold, little prince. The fall, it is already here. Step further, and see for yourself. And so you have arrived. I look at you and I feel what you humans call resentment and bitterness. Lies and lost purpose. That is what happened. The Pale Lady managed to create places full of accumulated weirdness. I thought that those were gifts from her, for all those centuries we spent together. A vote of thanks for creating you. But no. After our second meeting, I grasped from the very beginning I was used. All my attempts to weave a new Foredweller, how utterly meaningless it all was. A place that was once my workshop. I spent decades here unraveling the secrets of threads of the weirdness. Eventually, I learned enough about the structure of pure potential to weave life itself. Before that, my kin emerged from the depths of Tuathan, born out of the chaos. We couldn't control that. You, my prince, were my greatest pride. The most beautiful creation I ever wove. Yes, it consumes me entirely. I feel like I want you to die. I regret creating you. I regret that you lived and still live. I regret that your death, Prince, was not final. Regret. 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 So much regret. If you had never come to be, or if the Pale Lady had not desired to have you, none of this would have come to pass. She looked at the humans and wished to be like them. She wanted to be a mother. You too. Everything that has happened over the last 6 centuries, it is all because of you. It has to end. Your body, your soul, both were bent to carry more than one life, and you chose to keep living. You took it all upon yourself, accepted the burden and claimed the responsibility. Those who carry within yourself have had too great an influence on this world, and you'll be held accountable alongside them. This ends here and now. I'm deeply sorry it has come to this.
you. I wasn't expecting such a grandiose visit, my king. And I see that you were brought here by some lad. That's kind of you, stranger. But you'll have to pardon the mess. These halls ain't fit to welcome a king, nor the one who bears him within. Ah, right. Sometimes I forget that not everything's as clear as it once was. Truth be told, I tend to lose sight of a few important things myself. But to the point, my name is Gavonin. I'm a craftsman, a blacksmith, and the keeper of this place. The pleasure is mine, kind lad. And your grace, of course. This, kind lad, is the tomb of the knight who never came. There was once a grim legend that claimed this tomb was built out of fear. Fear of an ancient curse Morgana cast upon Arthur. She foretold that all the great knights who were denied the king's favor and honors would rise at the end of days as an army of the dead. They would march on Camelot, seize the capital, shatter the Round Table to dust, defile the royal relics, and from the ruins, forge a kingdom of their own. But those are just stories from the old days. This tomb opens only for two kinds of brave souls. Knights who were never granted a seat at the Round Table, and the king himself. I've been sitting here long enough to know what kind of knight visits the tomb. And your visit is unlike any other. Anyone who finds their way here usually comes seeking eternal rest. And rest like that calls for a proper gravestone. I carve each one with my own chisel. They also bring battle-scarred equipment. My hammer mends what needs mending, so it will serve them well in the land of the dead. And the dead? Well, they need a keeper. Someone to watch over them when unrest stirs. Believe me, those who chase glory in life don't always lie in peace. Really kind of you, lad, but no. Or, well, maybe there is something. You see, I once made a habit of carving gravestones in advance, so that any knight arriving here could choose the one beneath which they'd rest for eternity. Unfortunately, I've misplaced me chisel. It slipped and fell all the way into the depths. Clang, clang, clang. If you could find it, I would be most grateful. If we do not speak of them, then we won't stir their slumber. The dead prefer silence. Best not to call their names. Aye, few in knights these days, and even less knighthood to speak of. No wonder there's so few of them come. Such are the times we live in. No, I would cease to be. I'm bound here by an oath I made to his grace. The one who now dwells within you, but is perfectly fine. It is my home, and so it shall remain for all time. Hope you find something worth your time.
Kept us waiting. Your tombs gathered quite a lot of cobwebs and spiders. Best tidy up a little before you settle in for eternity. Ah, of course. Of all the forgotten knights who never came, you stand closest to the king. When you finally join us, you'll tell us what it was like to hear his voice, to share so many battles by his side. I won't deny my envy, but in death, you'll be our equal. And then we'll speak as comrades. I've no need to assume. Everyone dies, sooner or later. But yes, you're right. I suppose I had already decided your mission, whatever it may be, was bound to fail. Perhaps I was mistaken. Forgive me. I've been resting in a tomb for the past 3 centuries, so not much, really. I've been resting in a tomb for the past 3 centuries, so not much, really. Unless, of course, you're pointing out that I'm not in my own grave. In which case, fair enough. But what can I say? I do enjoy the occasional posthumous strolls. I came to this tomb of my own accord, as did many of us. I knew our time was drawing to a close. The gates opened, and so I entered. I had a few words with Govanon and then headed to the crypt prepared for me. With my own gravestone on my back, I treated it as my penance. Sometimes, when men want something badly enough, they're capable of truly awful things. I killed 5 knights. Each one stood higher than me in the race for a seat at the round table. 4 I cut down during a tournament. The last I drowned in a river. He was drunk as a skunk, didn't even comprehend what was happening. Quite the burden to repent for, wouldn't you say? Fine, lad. If someone's to watch over my corpse, I'm glad it's him. I imagine long ago he had more to do. It's been a while since anyone new passed through. I see. You pity the wretch who never reached his dreams. How noble of you, truly. But I propose something fairer. Let's test it. Your cause, my worth. If I lose with dignity, I am all yours. If you still consider me a good candidate for service, but if you fall, then you'll lie in the tomb that's been waiting for you since before you drew your first breath. So, what do you say? Splendid. Let's begin. Lost. Oh, how I missed that rush. As I promised, I'll serve the 2 of you. Here is my oath. I shall be ready to fight at your side whenever you should call upon me. Thank you.
Your Grace and the companion of the king. What do you need? Ah, Savas still lingers then. I'm not surprised. Some knights wear death like a cloak, and even the grave forgets to close behind them. As for the empty grave, every soul that walks this tomb finds their name carved somewhere. It doesn't mean the end is near, only that the place remembers who you are, even if you forget. When the body finally rests in the grave, the epitaph completes itself. You did? I was starting to fear that one day I'd have to descend to the lower levels myself. I try not to go that deep. Makes me drowsy. Sometimes I feel like lying down in one of the empty tombs myself. Ha! Thank you. It is a great honor to receive aid from the king and his companion. Here, take this. I hope you both will find it useful. Step carefully. Welcome, Your Grace. Farewell. Glad to... Hope you find...
It must be hard to be denied what you believed was your destiny. To spend your life chasing the unattainable, only to die unfulfilled. It's no wonder they can't find peace. There's a grave ready for all of us somewhere. Though, maybe not all of us get to see it before it's our time. Did it frighten you? Such a stark reminder of your mortality. Why? Not your kind of company? Don't worry. I doubt anything could make you. You'll rest where you choose, or where you fall. Some souls are meant to wander longer, to carry the stories forward, rather than be buried with them. Whatever you decide, I'm sure Avalon will remember. You've lit the way for some. Now light it for the rest.
Everything I did for you, you won't even let me rest in peace. I'm not talking to you, you mongrel. I'm speaking to the one hiding inside you, like a coward.
Let me speak to him, young one. Galahad, my friend, we come to you in our hour of need.
It wasn't enough to tamper with immortality on your own. You had to drag us into it too. Do you know, it was only after I died that I understood what you'd done. Becoming a Four-Dweller, Arthur. Really?
I've always valued your counsel, Galahad. But we were losing the war, and you were no longer at my side. I had no choice but to try becoming as powerful as they were.
Nonsense. There's always a choice, and you have made the worst one. How could you fraternize with the enemy? Go against everything we fought for? You're right. I wasn't there. If I had been, I'd have beaten you to death with my bare fists before letting you follow the advice of that old charlatan.
It was my choice, not Merlin's.
Keep telling yourself that. I know the truth. I always knew the old man was a manipulator, and you had too much on your shoulders to see what he was really doing.
I respect your opinion, Galahad. I only regret that we meet under these circumstances.
As do I. So, what now? You're taking my remains for a little trip, and I'm supposed to serve you again? Not that you're giving me a choice. If you take me from this place, my essence will be bound to your will. I never really had a choice, did I? The war, your transformation, it would have happened with or without me.
Probably, yes. But now, at least we can see it through to the end.
Do what you want. It's not like I have a choice. This will be the last time you hear me fully aware.
Then, is there anything you want to say to me, Galahad?
Just one thing. May the weirdness take you, traitor.
And so, it is done. Now everything rests in your hands. Their souls, and the fate of Avalon. There is. But before I explain, understand this. I haven't lied to you. What we've done has helped. Those tormented souls and Avalon itself. But it's not the whole story. Arthur and his king still need to be released into the Wordness. I can make that happen. Not yet. But it's a choice you'll have to face when the time comes. Nothing. Avalon will go on, as it always has. But ask yourself, is that the right path? Should people live in fear of the Wordness, generation after generation? Should they carry on, haunted by an incomprehensible threat? Or should they be allowed to embrace it, to become part of it, without fear? Arthur and his knights are the pillars of humanity in Avalon, and His Majesty's soul is unique, part human, part Four-Dweller. It's the best combination we could hope for, if we want to survive here. Releasing their souls into the Wordness would leave a permanent mark of humanity on this land. The Wordness wouldn't see us as intruders anymore, but as part of itself. Arthur and his knights worked tirelessly to make Avalon ours. This is their chance to finish what they started. No, I want them to be more. My people may be close to the Wordness, but even we aren't immune to its more violent moods. What I want is for the people of Avalon to embrace the Wordness, and for it to embrace them in return. Thank you. That's all I ask. And before you go, there's one last thing I'd like to do. I hereby welcome you as a full member of the Royal Geographers. May you carry the legacy of Iryu the Farstrider and Eleanor Dunn. May your paths be clear, your burdens light, and may Avalon remember your name. Farewell, traveler. I hope our paths cross again.
Meeting him made me reflect on one thing. How many great knights were swallowed by their ambition to sit at the round table. Somewhere along the way, things must have gone terribly wrong. If men could kill one another for something that was meant to be an honor, I pity the lost knights of this world. I'm glad this one will have a chance to fight at his king's side and serve me, as he always wished to. Galahad. I should have known he wouldn't be too happy about being brought back, but I hoped he'd died in peace, and would return in peace. I was wrong. War isn't a time when you can afford likes and dislikes. Galahad was a great warrior. He made decisions no other commander dared to. But would he have been a good leader in times of peace? I doubt it. That's why news of his death in battle came as a relief to me. Men like him, once they gain momentum, are nearly impossible to stop. In that regard, he and Galahad the Pure were quite alike. He led a dangerous expedition, one of the most important of the Age of Conquest. Had it succeeded, the war might have ended much sooner, but it didn't. And so the fighting went on. After the war, I had his remains recovered and this tomb built. Over time, He came to be seen as a noble martyr. But who he really was, well, you've seen that for yourself. I regret the fate he met. Let's make sure his sacrifice wasn't in vain.
to be honest. Our last talk made me realize, and I'm sorry I dragged you through all those caves for it, but without you, I'd still be wasting my time chasing the unattainable. Now, I can focus on something that matters. Protecting my tribe. Maybe even all of the Dalrida. I guarantee my armor... It's you. I guarantee...
Welcome back, my child. You have served me well. Now that the stray crows have been plucked from our ranks, I am finally ready to make the ultimate sacrifice. The time has come. The children of Morrigan shall rise from the shadows and claim the throne of Avalon. All shall serve Morrigan, or perish. Blood for blood, my child. That is the law of Morrigan. With every crow you cut down, you strengthen me in her eyes. The rivals are gone, the false ones purged, and now there is only one step left. You and I must duel. Your blade against mine, your will against fate itself. And when I stand victorious, Morrigan shall be reborn, her strength fully restored. Avalon will kneel before her. The true ruler will rise, as always meant to be. And you will have the honor of being the final offering. Kill me, and you think you've won. You might scatter the children, break their ranks. But Morrigan, she is war, death, blood spilled upon the earth. As long as men fight, as long as they kill, as long as the rivers run red, Morrigan will endure. You cannot kill a god. You cannot silence the scream of battle or erase the hunger for power. The moment you believe you've won, she will rise again, in another form, through another hand. So go ahead, struggle, spill my blood if you must. But know this, every war, every blade drawn, every last breath taken in defiance feeds her, and one day she will return.
Toast with magic. I need...
Nice to see you. Good day. Ah.
So, you finally made it. Took you long enough. I hope you're ready, because this is it. The beginning of the end. Ready to finish your journey, of course. You've come far, but every path ends somewhere. Yours ends here, in the heart of it all. This is the Charred Conclave, a graveyard for druids, burned alive as scapegoats for the Red Death. It's a reminder of what happens when people fear what they don't understand. They spoke out. They should have stayed silent, kept to their herbs and potions, but they didn't. They believed their ancient knowledge, ugly and painful truths from times long past, could save Avalon from the plague. And maybe they were right. But people don't want the truth when it's covered in blood. Cruel rituals, sacrifices, hard choices in search of real results. They called it wisdom, knowledge gleaned from the weirdness itself. But to the people, everything they did was unnatural, costly, and frightening. The druids believed their results would justify the costs. They thought Avalon would see them as saviors. But the people didn't understand, and fear turned to fire. Well, the Red Church and their politicians made sure of that. The druids became a convenient enemy, a way to shift the blame and tighten their grip on power. It's always so simple, so banal, isn't it? Well, death doesn't always mean an ending. It was a sacrifice so costly, so cruel, so pointless, that it tore a rift in the fabric of this world. An ultimate wound. And so you're the closest you'll ever come to seeing the true shape of this world. Well, first, you're going to meet my former employer. We don't see eye to eye anymore, but we both realize that our collaboration yields results, as shown by you being here. He'll try to sugarcoat the hard truths I've been telling you from the beginning, spin them differently. Never mind. Why waste time here talking about it when you're just a step from the end? It's best if you just go forth and see for yourself. To greet you, I was once where you are now. A knight with questions, searching for answers. That search led me to this place. And here I found my answers. Now it's your turn. Just remember, this is the point of no return. Once you've stepped through, there's no going back. But if you've come this far, I suppose you already knew that. Go on. He's waiting for you. Go on.
I've heard much about you, your choices, your determination. Caradoc isn't easily impressed. but he was impressed with you. Few dare to seek the truths buried in Avalon shadows. Fewer still make it this far. I was the first. Caradoc followed when my brethren burned and the tear opened. And now, here you are, a truly rare and joyful occasion. Oh, forgive my lack of manners. I am Orin, the last apprentice of Merlin, and the last archdruid of Avalon. I've carried the weight of this land's secrets longer than I care to admit. But names mean little. What matters is the task before us. What lingers here, it's older than Avalon, older than anything we know. What you see is the beginning of weirdness itself. Its purest form, raw potential, unshaped by anything but its lack of boundaries and limits. Beautiful, isn't it? Oh, precisely the opposite of what Caradoc wants. I want you to help me resurrect King Arthur, properly this time. Ridiculous, I know. But yes, that's what it boils down to. At some point, we stopped seeing eye to eye and chose different paths. Ultimately, though, both our paths led to you. Yes, please let me explain. By the end of his life, Arthur became obsessed with his legacy. He left mementos, artifacts that embodied the virtues he wanted Avalon to preserve. Excalibur, a symbol of loyalty and sacrifice. The crown of Pendragon, a beacon of courage and resilience. The shield of Palamedes, wisdom and independence. But Merlin and the others didn't believe that would be enough. The memory of war and the fragility of peace was still too fresh. So they acted. When the king died, his soul wasn't allowed to move on. It was shattered, bound to those artifacts. A clever solution, but ultimately flawed. They feared losing what Arthur represented more than losing Arthur himself. They thought the king's essence would endure if bound to his relics. I tried, and I found his humanity. It's here, bound, kept safe. But the Four Dwellers' aspects was left to drift, untethered between worlds. Finding it needed more than magic. It needed someone like you. The horrors you endured on that island gave you something no one else has. You can move through the weirdness, touch it, and return whole. That's why you found the king's soul, bound it to yourself, and came back. No, the asylum treated you as a subject. I see you as a savior. Your suffering gave us a chance. And for that, I am both grateful and deeply sorry. I can see you're still doubting me. I want to bring back our king, whole and complete. I want him to lead again and safeguard Avalon's future. It won't. This time, Arthur will be whole. A king must be more than power. He must be human. That balance is what will save Avalon. Because I've seen what happens without him. Weirdness preys on the weak, and the people are too divided to stand against it alone. Arthur is their only hope. Ever they're left without him, without guidance, chaos takes hold. Division festers. You've seen it during your journeys. If things continue this way, Avalon will tear itself apart long before weirdness finishes the job. They will follow him. That's what people do. When weirdness comes to their doorstep, they'll beg for a savior. And Arthur will answer the call. Help me bring the king back, whole and complete. That's all I ask of you. Now you need to go further. I made my case. Please keep in mind what I told you. This is the only way for Avalon to survive.
I was there when it all began, when Arthur first set foot on Avalon. I was a knight in his army. We believed in him, in his dream, in his kingdom. And for a while, it was glorious. Every battle felt like a step closer to peace. Every sacrifice justified by the dream we shared. But then came the cost. The war crimes, the impossible decisions, the massacres, slaughters, and irrational cruelty. We turned from knights into butchers, all because his dream demanded it of us. At first I told myself it was necessary, that it was the price of building something great. But the longer it went on, the harder it was to believe. That's when I realized Arthur wasn't a god, a savior, or a king. He was just another man, no different from the rest of us. And no man should have the power to demand such sacrifices. But do you understand why I want it so much? I'd like to believe that after 600 years I've moved past pettiness. You need to understand that people thought, and still think, that he was more than human. But he wasn't. He made mistakes, just like any man. And the cost of those mistakes was always paid for by others. I've seen what happens when people cling to kings and myths. They wait, they follow. They waste their lives on promises that never meant anything. But that's not my problem. I'm not here to fix Avalon or to free anyone. What comes after doesn't matter. Let it all burn. Let it rot. Let it rebuild. I won't be here to see it. Call it chaos, call it freedom, I don't care. Let them rise, let them fall. Let them tear each other apart. I just want to watch it all come down, to see the last lie collapse under its own weight. What comes after, that's for the ones still standing to figure out. Let them stand, let them fall. It's not my concern. If the weirdness takes them, so be it. At least it won't be another king's failure. Another lie propping up a dying world. It'll just be what it is. Arthur's the only myth that still holds weight. And when he's gone, the rest will rot with him. A puppet king, another empty throne, none of it will last. Maybe they'll keep pretending for a while. Maybe they won't. Then let it. If this world can't stand without a dead king propping it up, maybe it deserves to fall. I've lived longer than any man should. Seen more than anyone should ever bear. And I've waited centuries for this moment, this chance, to end it all. To end him. And we'll never know if that's true, because we've never tried. And who ever said that we were meant to survive the weirdness at all? We were fools to tamper with forces we didn't understand. Resurrecting Arthur, infusing him with powers of the weirdness. We didn't just bend the natural laws, we shattered them. Such violations of nature's order cannot go unanswered. The bill comes due. Sooner or later. Always. This cannot be allowed to continue. Listen, it's taken longer than I ever imagined, but now, here we are. You've done what no one else could, what even I couldn't do. You've brought Arthur's soul back together, almost complete, but not quite. And because of you, I can finally finish what I started centuries ago. So, thank you for bringing us to this moment. You're close now. Just one more step. The last fragment of Arthur's soul is waiting for you. Complete what you came here for. And then, we'll meet again. As allies, or as enemies. That's up to you. Go. Find the last piece, and let's end this. Whatever comes next, I'll be ready. I hope you will be too.
You've come. The one who carries what's left of me. Please, don't come any closer. Don't force me to think about coming back again. Just let me finally die. Because I've had enough. Enough of being torn apart and stitched back together. Enough of being used, shaped, and forced to be something I'm not. Do you know what it is like to be a king of nothing? To see the people you swore to protect suffer because of your choices? Or worse, in your name. I've seen towns burnt to the ground, families destroyed. All because someone thought it would serve the greater good. And they called it loyalty. They called it justice. I've been dragged through every dream, every lie they've built around me. And I'm tired. Tired of the weight, of the expectations, of all of it. And most of all, I'm tired of failing. Orin wants a king, not me. He doesn't see the broken man behind the myth. He sees a symbol, a weapon to wield against the weirdness. But symbols aren't people. They're empty. And the more they're used, the more they hollow out the one who carries them. That's all I've ever been to Orin and the Druids. Do you know what it's like to be a weapon? To be forged, sharpened, and thrown at every problem? He thinks ending me will free Avalon. But what then? Without an idea, a light to guide them, they'll stumble, lose their way, and turn on each other. People always seek something to follow, something to believe in. Take that away, and they'll tear each other apart trying to find it. Or worse, build something even crueler in its place. I want release. I want to stop being a tool in their endless struggle. Kill me. Destroy the last piece of me and use the energy however you wish. Take it yourself and become the new king. Give it to someone else. I don't care. Just don't let me come back again. Let me die. Not as Arthur, not as the king, just as a simple, normal human being. I don't care. Do you know how freeing that is? To finally not care what happens next? Whether Orin gets his king or Caradoc gets his ruin? To not feel the burden of all my failures? To not see my memory tarnished, my plans, goals, and ambitions dragged through the mud? To not see the suffering my name causes? No more deaths in my shadow. No more kingdoms built on my bones. Isn't that what you've been doing all along? Carrying what's left of him? You've already taken up the humanity I was meant to represent. Doesn't that prove Arthur doesn't need me anymore? Another way? There's always another way, isn't there? Another cycle, another resurrection, another lie to keep the world spinning. But please, not for me. Not anymore. I've had enough. I don't want another chance. I want this to be over. Do what you think is right. That's all I can tell you, because whatever you decide, it will finally be your choice, not mine, not theirs. And that's the only thing I've ever wanted. You hold the choice. I don't care who you side with. Orin, Caradoc, or no one at all. You have all of my soul. Use it. Take it for yourself. Give it to someone else. I don't even want to know. Do what you will with it. Just let me go. Let me finally rest. Let me die. Please.
Help me bring the king back, whole and complete. That's all I ask of you. Now you need to go further. I made my case. Please keep in mind what I told you. This is the only way for Avalon to survive.
Go on. He's waiting for you.
Let me go. Let me finally rest.
You carried a dying king across the bones of a dying world. Now you stand before what started it all. An idea. I am the reason there must be an ending. I do not guide. I do not judge. I exist so that something can be chosen. I do not offer meaning. I require that one be made. You have brought all things to their conclusion. Now, decide what must remain. Choose, and let the shape of the world follow. You will vanish into the story you chose to restore. You will break the frame, and what follows will not remember you. You will be seen. You will be followed. You will be blamed. You will shape the world to become its witness. He shall find his way home. The tear between the worlds shall close. Who do you have in mind? Then the prince will ascend and return to his mother. The heart shall cease its bleeding. Through his ascension, the weirdness will be tamed.
No, I won't let this happen. Not again.
You uncovered the truth buried in the weirdness and used it to return Arthur to where he truly belonged, ending the cycle and securing Avalon's future. The Four-Dweller Mother's heart, no longer bleeding, sealed the wound in the world, and with it, ended the Red Death that had stolen so many lives. And so, the legend of King Arthur began to fade. In its place grew a stronger Avalon, where the weirdness was no longer feared, but understood. With One Eye and Captain Brandon working side by side, the South found a peace it hadn't known in years. The roads stayed open, the fields were guarded, and the people finally felt safe. No longer bound to Camelot or the Knights of the Round Table, it became a land ruled by its own people on its own terms. Because of you, the men here remained and the Kuinact endured, not just as a place, but as a legacy of quiet defiance and hope. Lord Yvain was remembered as a hero who gathered the wise and set out in search of the Grail, while Kuinact stood as a peaceful haven amid the weirdness. You awakened the giants, and with them at their side, the Dal Rita conquered Camelot. As the capital fell, the customs of the tribes spread across Avalon. Not everyone welcomed them, but the change had already taken root. Firgas was named the new Galahad the Loyal. With One Eye and Brendan backed by the Dal Rita, the Forlorn Swords, he saw that the South's alliance was strong enough to stand on its own. He urged Camelot to leave the South in peace and turned his attention to securing the rest of Avalon. The captain led the South to independence, breaking all ties with Camelot. Under his rule, the Horns of the South flourished. Merchants, pilgrims, and adventurers returned to the roads, and prosperity once again reached the far corners of the land. One Eye ruled the South, with the Horns of the South at his side. Over time, the Dal Rita of the Fallen Swords rallied to his banner, forging a unified force. With the South secured, he stood in a strong position to launch future conquests across Avalon. Nianta left Kuinact with Yvain, and her fate remained unknown. Yet among the people she once served, tales of her devotion and courage endured, and her name was remembered with respect. Magat left Kuinact alongside Yvain, surprising many who had long considered him harmless and weak. His fate remained unknown, but in time, the people spoke proudly of the last druid, claiming him as one of their own. Eothra left Kuinact alongside Yvain, despite concerns about his age. His fate remained unknown, but the people admired him for finding purpose at the end of his life, and spoke of him with lasting respect. Fabius fled with Leal before the church could act. In hiding, they built a quiet life together, raising their child far from the reach of the Red Church. Ailey turned to the merchants for support, and for a time the hospital prospered. But when they began charging patients for care, she walked away and opened her own small practice, refusing to serve profit over healing. The Volker joined the rest of the Dal Rita without a matron and without Mathar's blessing. Even so, their warriors kept the ferocity they had once been famed for, tempered now by a clarity that left the other tribes uneasy. They were respected, but only barely. For what greater dishonor is there than turning one's back on the goddess who had made them what they were? Ingui turned away from the eternal sleep, choosing life over dreams, In time, she began to rebuild the Thoid among the living, planting the first seeds of a new future for her scattered people. Under Stronar's leadership, the Ulfra found new strength. He rebuilt the tribe and reunited them with the rest of the Dal Rita, restoring their place among the tribes of the Forlorn Swords. With the Stagfather slain and the old bonds broken, Balaam led the Svine towards a new path. He opened the tribe to the other clans of the Dal Rita and guided them to settle in the Mather mines. You stood as her protector, and the Bee Queen believed you understood her purpose. But from the ruins of Brockmala, her brood now spreads unchecked, and the South must bear the weight of your promise. You accepted the mycelium's offer and let the spores consume Sagramor's body. Now the kingdom lies under fungal control, its people connected, obedient, and slowly fading into the roots that feed the spores. You made a pact with the Foredwellers, freeing them only once they agreed to leave behind their knowledge. One was lost to madness, but another fulfilled the promise, placing a stone woven with the song at the feet of the Stone Wardens. Through it, the craft survived into a new age. After returning to Camelot, Killian lived quietly for a time. When he vanished, few asked questions. Unsettling rumors had always followed him, and most preferred not to remember. Proud of her newfound ability to fly, Muriel returned to Tuathan to deliver her report. The Foredwellers, seeing that she had survived and been treated with care, took it as a rare sign of hope, that perhaps, at last, humanity might be ready for dialogue. O Queen Cinnamon Sage never forgot the bond he shared with you. Proud of the path you chose, he built a small shop near your grave, and in quiet moments, still spoke to you as he once did. A friend loyal beyond the bounds of life.